Hi everyone, my name is Grace Martin and today I'm going to be going over my multimedia projects presentation. I spent the last week learning how to use different editing tools such as Photoshop. I was able to use Canva, Procreate, and take some of the photos off of Unsplash to use them in my projects. At the beginning of the week then, I had focused more on learning the ins and outs of the photos. And how to use the different editing softwares. So for my first picture, then I did a bride and groom. I looked up on Unsplash Raw wedding photos just because I thought that would be a good place to start. I edited out the flowers that were falling to put more focus on the bride and groom. Using the AI generative fill, then I was able to add more grass around the bride's skirt and add in a rose bush. During my editing, then I accidentally had hit this girl in the head, and so her head was dented, so I used AI generative fill to add a bow, and it was able to generate a nice little blue bow that kind of matches with the bridesmaids' dresses. Overall, then using Photoshop, it was a really big learning curve because there's so many things that you can do with it. So it was fun to use, and I was able to use it a lot during the process of making my different my different project pictures. So going into the next one, my project is going to be going over life after loss. It's going to be an Articulate 360 learning module about how to deal with different types of grief. The grief that's going to be going over isn't necessarily just the loss of a loved one. It can be a breakup, moving, anything like that. So I really wanted to do something mental health focused. So I thought that grieving is always a good place to kind of go into. So in Unsplash, then I found a photo of a city and a photo of a girl that's upset. And so I put her upset in the city to kind of show that even though you're in your own head, like life still goes on. Like people are going to keep going on around you. I was able to edit out some of the little small things, like the top of the tower had some rods sticking out, so I took those away. The top of the buildings also had some that I took away. So I was able to do that in Photoshop. And then I also changed it from color to black and white so that all matched. Next, then going into one of those that you're grieving, like a breakup. So this woman is getting broken up with over text through a little iMessage editing site. Then I made a fake breakup scenario and I put it on an iPhone. I found this picture on Unsplash and then I just edited the photo in. I originally was not able to get the corners as rounded as I wanted to. So I took the complete picture and I put it into Procreate where I just rounded the edges out a little bit and then I put it back into Photoshop and then I changed the opacity and the different settings on it. So you can see the messages, the rounded corners, everything like that. And then one of the things that I really enjoyed doing when it comes to any type of grief is using humor to kind of combat it. So I thought, well, what better way than to kind of make a book? The idea was a how to, like those how to for dummies books. So I thought making a book cover in Canva called Your Mom Just Died, Now What? The Guide to Understanding Life After Loss. I was able to make that cover in Canva and then put it into the Photoshop of this girl that I found on Unsplash reading one of her old books. I had to edit out the scar going down it because whenever I was putting the photo on there, I didn't want it too bright, so I was turning down the opacity, but that was coming through, so I was able to pretty much erase this. I just went over it with one of the markers, like the coloring markers, and so it made a nicer background for this. I was also able to go in with the blemish tool and smooth out the edges so it wasn't so harsh. In an Adobe video that I was watching about Photoshop, then I had learned how to distort different things to kind of change the perspective. So she has the book tilted a little bit so it's not just a straight down flat, just throw it on there. So I had to distort it a little bit to kind of give it that tilted look. in Canva, then I was able to create a support group poster, adding in photos that I got directly off of Canva. In it, then it has a different location, some words, everything like that. Then it could be like an actual support group that someone could go to. So I just thought that that was fun to make. It seems a little bit more welcoming. I use Canva almost every single day, whether it's at work or at home. So I really enjoy making different flyers and different things in Canva. So learning this wasn't any type of learning curve since I had already known how to do it before. I just thought it was interesting, like in the previous photos, being able to incorporate Canva photos into different types of Photoshop. Procreate, then this one is one that wasn't required. I had just gotten it on my iPad, and so Procreate is $13. It's unlimited for life, so you don't have to keep paying for it. I think that I will mainly be using Procreate to jot down ideas, storyboard, but it's also pretty cool because you can take photos, you can trace it, you can kind of, it's a really nice drawing board. Unfortunately, it's only offered on the iPad, so you can't start it on the iPad and then pick it up anywhere. You just have to do it all on the iPad and then export it. So that's a drawback to it, but overall, then it's not too bad. But those are the main photos that I really focused on. If you stay till the end, then you get to see this interesting photo that I made on Photoshop through the use of different photos from Unsplash. It's that girl that was in one of the first photos, very upset. She found out that her cat is a menace and there's nothing that she can do about it. So this one was just a fun one that I had been working on for a couple of days just because I thought that it would be fun to do because I have a cat and my cat is also a menace. But overall, then that is my project. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.